Again, good evening, everyone. My name is Yogesh. Thank you so much for coming to this session on market neutral strategies to mitigate risk in the volatile markets. I see a lot of familiar names here. I see a lot of new people also who have um, joined this session, and I hope, first of all, thank you so much to my previous audience who have continued to show their support. And like every time, I see a lot of familiar names, and most welcome also to the new investors, the new prospects who want to understand what is the session about. We conduct these webinars, we conduct these training sessions week on week basis to raise more and more awareness about the financial markets, their products, and how the current opportunities can be utilized. Because financial markets have one thing, which is investment opportunity, and that will always remain, irrespective of the noise, irrespective of the risk. One thing which prevails in between of all of this is the opportunity. Today we'll discuss about such strategies. Please give me a yes or a okay on your chat option. You have a chat option which is enabled. Please, if you can hear me, you can see my work. Yes or okay. So I know that we can proceed because this platform, this software, Webinar Jam, has a history of showing more and more congestion. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, great. So I'm getting most of the people are okay. They are saying yes to proceed with. So thank you so much. Please, if anyone feels that the voice is not proper, just send me over the chat. We will put the recording of this session on the YouTube as well, so you can always check this out later. Now, coming with market neutral strategies, whatever thing we are going to discuss today, needless to say, guys, like always, everything has a certain amount of risk element attached to it. Please consult your financial consultant before you use any of such strategies in your portfolio. These are for information purposes to show you that how you can use market neutral strategies to mitigate the risk. But the risk and reward and the specifics, you should always talk to your consultant, check your risk appetite, and only then you should trade. So please, none of these strategies have any guaranteed returns or any assurances. This has risk and which can be discussed. Right? Now, starting with what a market neutral investing actually is. I hope everybody can see this PDF of mine. Try to upload this presentation here, but it just doesn't work that way. So when we talk about market neutral investing, the word neutral, which means less affected by what happens across the market. One thing which has increased a lot in last few years, I should not even say in last 1 year or 2 years, one thing which has increased, write in your chat option, guys. What do you think one thing in financial markets has increased? It's not an asset class, so don't write stocks or commodities. This is more of a attribute of financial market which has increased a lot. What is it? It could be risk, could be reward, could be anything. What do you think has increased in the market? In last 4 or 5 years, if you see, there has been a steady growth in one attribute of financial markets. Write in your chat option. What do you think has increased? Right, guys, write whatever you feel, and please have your notepads. I have my notepad. Keep writing if you feel something is important. You never know. Maybe something in this session could strike out importance. Okay, I'm getting vision has increased. Okay, yeah, maybe investors have a long-term vision now or a short-term vision. Anyone else? What has increased in the financial markets? Okay, somebody said risk. Okay, I understand. Risk has increased. Okay, somebody said profits. Okay, somebody saying losses. Okay, Yes, there are no rights and wrong. I'm sure you have something in your mind when you say it. Uncertainty, of course, uncertainty. Uncertainty is something which is, it has increased, definitely. Capital has increased, of course. A lot of investors are injecting, a lot of institutions are injecting a lot of cash. Definitely, capital has increased. Participants have increased. Of course, there are a lot of market participants now. So that is great, amazing. Oh, one answer I got: fear volatility. Absolutely right. Very specific word, so that's great. Fear and volatility has increased a lot. Now, with volatility coming in, and let me tell you what volatility is. Volatility is fluctuations, the ups and downs in the market. And I have my live platform also going on, so I'll definitely be able to show you that how much volatility is increased. In fact, let's see it right away. Let me share my screen with you. So currently you are watching the live platform, and when I say live platform, this means the real pricing lifetime. Now over here, if I take SPX 500, the benchmark US index, or let's say take an individual stock. Now guys, give me an individual stock, a company, any company you like. I can open a chart for it. Keep it US because this is my demo account where I can see mostly the US stocks or the German stocks also, if you can. Take the name of any company. Most of the companies are always there listed in the market. So I'll show you how volatility has actually increased in last few years. Okay, somebody said Boeing, somebody said General Motors, Tesla. Tesla is definitely in. Okay, let me take. Keep writing, guys. Keep writing. I'll take a lot of examples. So let's take Tesla, and this is Tesla's chart. And as you can see, I'll go just show you last 1 year exactly how Tesla prices have moved. If you see, uh, focus on this fall which happened on 18th Feb. Let me increase the size of the text for you. This is 2020 February when the Tesla fell from 182.90. This is a stock split price, so just be with me. From $90 per share, within 1 year, it has gone to $900 high. This is volatility because in between it has gone up to 490, it went down to 330, it went to 460, it went to 330, then it went to 460, it went to 370, then it went to 864, then it came down to 538, and now it is $673. This is, ladies and gentlemen, volatility. So when you look at Rolls-Royce, somebody said, so Rolls-Royce also as a company, if you see, it has been beaten down a lot, but then again, I have to activate this later, but yes, the point taken. Rolls-Royce is again something, when we look at the company, it has moved a lot. So with this fluctuation, with this volatility, what we can find out is we need to have strategies which are neutral to the volatile market. Anybody can just buy and then wait to sell it, right? But then we have to understand that just buying and selling doesn't bring a risk management to a portfolio. You can always buy, you can always keep a stop loss, but then you have to understand that when markets are this tricky, I'm sure so many of you must have heard about GameStop. GameStop, a company with not fundamentally very attractive, but a bunch of people on the Reddit community made it so popular that the stock price continued to skyrocket. Right? We will go through a chart of GameStop also to see that how it has gone up. This is a very different and a very volatile market. So the need for market neutral strategies, something very simple. Right now, the chart which you see in front of you, where you see equity hedge, active equities, passive equities, and then equity market neutral. The horizontal axis from left to right shows you the market risk. which you can face, which whenever you invest, whichever asset class you invest, you have market risk. The vertical axis show you the specific security-based risk. When I say specific security risk, that means how moving the market puts you on a specific, like that if you have invested in gold, how movement of the market specifically affects gold, right? So that way is where you'll be able to see the market risk and the specific security risk. Now, if you are a passive investor, start from the very beginning. Passive investor means that you gave your money to someone else, and or not even someone else, you bought some stocks and you hold it for 1 year or 2 years. You barely look at it. Sometimes when you feel that okay, I have to look at my portfolio and see, you see it, but otherwise you're a passive investor. You put money into an index like S&P 500. If S&P 500 goes up by 14%, you make 14%. If it goes down by 20%, you lose 20%. So you're a passive investor. You're not employing any new techniques or strategies in your portfolio. Something like the active investor, which is just above the passive investor. So if you see the market risk, even if you're a passive investor, it is there. The active investor, it is there. Even if you hedge your equity, let's say you bought CFD shares and then you hedged it with options, it still has market risk. But when you look at equity market neutral, it comes way below that particular line where the risk and the reward is much higher. When it comes to risk is slightly less, and when you look at the reward or when you look at the alpha, also that is something which is attractive. Now, these market neutral strategies are your alternative investments, and they have characteristics irrespective to which side the market goes. Your strategies are very specific that it has to be neutral, which means one is on the buying side, another is on the selling side, and the market movement should not affect your investment. Unlike other alternative investments, market neutral aim to maintain low market risk, limited sensitivity to shifts in the broader market, and high security specific risk or heightened exposure to the stock or bond selection skills of investment managers. Right? Now, the understanding here is by employing these particular strategies, there is one very specific risk which you will face by doing market neutral strategies, and that is very relatable to those two products which are being traded. But if you see in a broader market sense, whatever happens in the broader market should not affect your market neutral strategies, right? So these are done to lower the sensitivity in your portfolio, lower the volatility in the portfolio, because markets are going to remain volatile, but your portfolio should not be very volatile. So that's why a lot of market neutral strategies are done. And thankfully, we are here to discuss a lot of market neutrals. Now, starting here, something what we call as pair trading or statistical arbitrage. And this pair trading can be again diversified into a lot of other pair trades as well. So to understand pair trading, first I'll take a very small quiz. Tell me guys if there's a poll on your screen. I would love if all of you can answer this. Just want to understand. How many of you know about short selling? This is a poll, this is a question. Either you know about it or you don't know about it. Either way, even if you don't know about it, I'm going to take a very quick example and explain it to you how short selling works. But I see a lot of people already aware. Please click, please vote. This is a very important thing. I think if you know about short selling, then you will definitely be able to connect yourself with the pair trades and with these market neutral strategies, because we are buying one, we are short selling another. Okay. We're going to have, please, yeah, okay, now a lot of people are voting. Please go ahead. If you don't know about it, just write no, I don't know about short selling. If you know about it, please write yes, because we want more best productivity out of this session. So, okay, perfect. So I'm going to have this poll for 10 more seconds. Anybody who has not voted, I humbly request, please vote so I get to know how much people know about this. Okay, 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2. Okay, great. Okay, so I think it's more of a 70-30 ratio. So that's great. I think this is completely brilliant. A lot of crowd knows about it. A lot of people, 30% of the people, they are not aware about it. Let me very quickly explain it to you how short selling works, since I have the live platform already open. It's a very easy transaction. And why I'm explaining you short selling, because that's the base of all the strategies which I'm going to explain it to you today. Short selling is a strategy where you try to capitalize on the falling prices. You try to make gain out of the falling prices. For example, let's take example of okay. Let's take example of Bitcoin. I think this is one of the most top things. So let's say Bitcoin right now is 54,970. Okay. And you are expecting Bitcoin prices might fall. Unlikely to the popular opinion, which is on the high side. But let's say you're expecting Bitcoin prices might fall. So instead of buying, as in here, you select a sell. And selling means you are borrowing 1 Bitcoin from your broker. When I write 1 unit of Bitcoin, press enter, and it shows you 1 Bitcoin. This was the price, which is your selling price. So you borrow 1 Bitcoin from your broker and you sell it in the market. Now, when you sell it in the market, that means it's a reverse transaction. So if you see your positions now, it shows you Bitcoin sell, S for sell, 1 unit, 54,980, which means now if Bitcoin price comes down, you will make a profit because you have sold Bitcoin at a cheaper price. First question, how can you sell something which you don't have it? You borrow it from your broker. So always remember this thing, that short selling means that something which you think is at a higher price, you sell it, and when it comes down, you buy it back. So when you sell it, hypothetically, if you've sold a Bitcoin at 55,000, you receive 55,000 in your account. And when it goes down to 53 and you buy it back, from that 55, you give 53. So you are left with $2,000. That's your profit. Again, we can have a one-on-one session to understand more about short selling. But for now, short selling is a transaction where you borrow the commodity or the instrument from your broker, sell it in the market, and when price comes down, buy it back and close your transaction. So the difference between the selling and the buying price will be your profit if the price came down. Now, understanding the pair trading. In pair trades, you buy one leg of a transaction. First of all, pair trading is done very closely between 2 instruments. And these 2 instruments, let me show you right here. So we are talking about at the same time you buy and sell units of a company or a commodity, any particular sector, by calculating a correlation. Obviously, consultants help you with this kind of correlation, but it has to be done in equal value. Tell me, when I say the word MasterCard, which is the immediate competition comes into your mind? When I say MasterCard, please type your answers on the chat. When I say the word MasterCard, what's the next name, or which is the other company comes into your mind? Go ahead, guys. Do give your answers. Okay, I got answer 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I think everybody collectively says PayPal. I'm kidding. A lot of answers. Everybody says Visa. So yes, when I say the word MasterCard, Visa. When I say the word Pepsi, people talk Coca-Cola, right? Why? Because these are 2 very relative connected pairs. So pair trading happens either between these connected pairs or something which is completely opposite or a substitute of each other. Either these could be complementary products or could be byproducts or substitutes of each other. Pair trading happens between those, right? And there is a lot of arbitrage opportunities which also come in. What is the basis of this? What is the basis of this? You have to buy one specific instrument and short sell another one, but it has to be of equal value. So if there is a pair trading has to be done between Pepsi and Coca-Cola, you should buy either Pepsi and short sell Coca-Cola, or buy Coca-Cola and short sell Pepsi, but it has to be equal value. 50,000 worth Pepsi, 50,000 Coca-Cola, 100,000 Pepsi, 100,000 Coca-Cola. Similarly, right? Now, when to buy and when to short sell is something where how we will understand, and will understand that how strategies have been formed by looking at this. Right, now let's move on to the strategy part of it, since we understand the short selling over here. Now, their pair trading has sub trading, then it also has multi-class trading, and we'll take examples of all these now. Let's start with something called, which was very recent. Now, these are the strategies, guys, so you can always talk to your relationship managers, and they will even send you the PDFs of these strategies if you want to. Hope everybody can see this. Yeah, and please keep writing your questions in it. I'm sure a lot of you will have a lot of questions, so please do not shy away. Now, this is strategy number one, and since and I'll take this trade with you, and I'll show you how this works. This strategy was prepared on, if you can see the date, 5th of February 2021. Yeah, and this was between US banks versus US gold, a long-term strategy to counter rising yields. Now, we saw a bit of update how the market has been performing. A few weeks ago, 1 or 2 weeks ago, we saw stock markets falling because we saw bond yields, the yields of the bonds, they started going higher. Now, bond yields started going higher because there was an oversupply of bonds in the market. So the bond prices went down and the yields went up. At the same time, why there was an oversupply of bonds? Because a lot of stimulus was being injected. A lot of stimulus was being injected into the economy. So there was heavy bond buying which was happening, and that's why the supply of bonds increased. We saw bond prices going down, and we saw the bond yields going up. Now, when bond yields go up, people start taking money out of stocks, and they start putting money into bonds because yields are higher. Now, when that happened over here, first and foremost sector which gets affected on net margin basis is the banking sector, because whenever the bond yields they start growing higher. Now, see what is written: why treasury yields went up. The anticipation of larger government borrowing to fund the $2 trillion stimulus pushed the 10-year bond yields to a 10-month high in January. And government across the world, they have unleashed massive stimulus to revive their economies, which were impacted by COVID-19. So this led to an increase in the yield. Now, when bond yields go higher, people start taking money out of gold or out of stocks. They start putting money into bonds, or normally they buy more and more bonds. Banking sector is the first one to get benefited out of this. While on the other side, people take money out of risky assets like gold, etc., because now they are getting higher yields. This is something which is fixed income. Then why would somebody put money into commodities? So we saw a lot of people started taking money out of gold and putting money into their banking part. Now that's where you have to understand that if the banks are getting more and more benefited, which means the banking stocks are expected to go higher, while the gold mining companies might drop because gold prices started dropping because people started selling lot and lot gold. So let's see how it looked in the platform in last few days, where we have seen gold prices going up. And please do ask me any questions if you have. This is right here. Let me show you the gold chart. Look at this. And we'll go not very far. We'll go with last 3 months. 4th Jan onwards. Look at 4th January onwards. What has happened here? Look at the gold prices, guys, right here. Wait, this was 2021. Perfect. 2021, 6th of January, gold price was $1,957 for 1 ounce. $1,957 for 1 ounce. 1 ounce is 31 grams. Fast forward, 9th March, which is 10 days before, we saw price going to $1,677, which means from 1957 or 1977, let's say, take it round up, 1957, 1967, to 1,675, almost $300 decline from 6th Jan to 9th March, which means 2 months and $300 decline. At the same time, if I see share baskets, the banking baskets, which you can easily find it over here in your share baskets, US banks. And if you see during the same time period, I will say last 3 months, and this is from here, if you see 29 January onwards, look at this. From 3,600, the basket has gone to 4,500. So that means almost 20% increase, right? From this to this. This is a bank basket. So you see both the baskets, banks and gold, we have seen banks going up and gold coming down. This happened throughout after the 5th Feb. And if you see, this was a strategy. That's why we came up with that due to the current market scenario, right here, if you see the current market scenario, one sector which can benefit from higher yield is financial services, as banks and financial service companies benefit from higher yields through higher net interest margin. On the other hand, rising yield should weigh on the non-yielding gold and hurt the profits of gold miners. Technically, gold prices have given a break below the 1800 level and could be headed for more losses. This was done, guys, on 5th of February, where the strategy was very simple. The rationale of the strategy, US banks. So what you have to do over here, pair strategy which takes long position on US banks basket. Long means to buy US banks, and short position on US gold basket, which means you buy the bank basket, short sell the gold basket, equal value. How will you do equal value? Let me show you how you can use the strategy on the platform itself. Go back to the platform here. Okay. Let me close my. Now see, very quickly, just to give you a short selling example. You short sell one unit 54,980. Now the buying price is 54,900, which means it has gone down by $60, and that's why I have $60 profit. So I'll just close this very quickly. Now that profit is added to my account value. So short selling means making money from the falling transaction. Now I'm going to do the strategy which we discussed about buy US banks and short sell gold basket. Now please let me tell you this, that the movement has already happened. And if I have to take the strategy at this point of time, I would first see the levels and then do it. But right now I'm just giving you a demonstration. So please do not take this as a current recommendation. Just see that how a pair trade works. So first you open a US basket, click on buy because it's a bank basket right here, right? And then there is US gold. You open the order ticket for that also. Now this is a bank basket, short sell. I have $100,000, which means I have to short sell gold basket worth 50,000 and buy US bank basket worth 50,000. Now buying bank basket was $50,000. Their units are different because their price is different. So you don't do equal units, you do equal value. So $50,000 worth buy US banks, while you short sell $50,000 worth US gold, and you have to do it at the same time. So this is buy and then sell. So now if you see, I have done the pair trade where $50,000 banks buy and $50,000 US gold sell. Guys, let me show you this. This strategy was done on 5th of February. Just look at what happened if you had done this from 5th of Feb. Look at the date right here. This is the bank basket, okay? From 5th Feb till 25th and even further. From 5th Feb till date, the bank basket has gone from 39.59 to 45.96, almost 4,600. So from 3,900 to 4,600, the bank basket has gone up. And if you see the US gold basket right here, it has come down right away. So if you see here, let's see the February values. Last 3 months. See, from 5th of February, it went up 6,200 and came down all the way to 5,300. So your buy on banks, your short sell on gold, you made money on the US bank basket, you made money on the gold basket. So the pair trade is taken this way with an anticipation that one leg will outperform the another because of a certain event. So bond yields were rising. So the popular opinion was, okay, bond yields were rising. That means banking sector will get benefit out of it. And where the people are taking money out of? Gold sector. So we saw almost 20% return on this particular thing. Now, as I say, if I said a 20%, if I saw a 20% return on this thing, doesn't mean that this is something which happens every day. But this is one strategy. During this time, Tesla prices went up and down, markets went up and down, gold prices went haywire. But your strategy will only get affected in case if banks started going down and gold started going up, right? So only then your strategy would be affected. It will not be affected by what happens between geopolitical stuff. It will not get affected by what happens with GameStop or AMC. It will not get affected by who becomes the president, who not, because it's a very specific trade taken towards a pair, right? This is strategy number one. While this, let it be, working. Right now, I've just taken this trade to demonstrate you how it is. Obviously, you don't entry or exit anytime from these kind of strategies because this is based on the point of standard deviation, right? Now, let me show you one more strategy over here. And again, guys, please do not employ any of this without consulting your financial experts. Only this is just to show you that what a lot of investors are doing, which retail investors are not even aware about. Because for other people, it is always, okay, you buy and keep a stop loss, or just buy and hold on for 5 years or 6 years. But there are a lot of other things which you can do with your portfolio. Now, another strategy which you can see here. Let's say, okay, now this is very nice. This is something what we call as NASA. And this is to show you why we did. This is last updated on 31st December 2020. NASA, why we call it NASA? Because the strategy is very simple. You buy NASDAQ index and you short sell South Africa index. Okay. The holding cost part is a bit different. I mean, we can have one-on-one sessions to understand holding cost. But even if we see net return wise, let me show you something. Now, just be with me as I explain the strategy to you. Don't see all the numbers. Okay. If you have a notepad, it will be amazing. You can actually note it down. Okay, somebody asked me a question. How effective is this strategy from your experience? What percentage? See, I just showed you. I mean, you're talking about a previous strategy, what I just talked about. The strategy which I showed you right now between the banks and the gold basket, that gave 20%. return because gold basket went down by 10% and bank basket went up by 10%. And you are buy on banks and short sell on gold, you make 20% on investment. But please, this is what happened for this particular strategy. But we didn't know that we were going to make 20% a month or no. So there is absolutely no number attached to it. But yes, the question you asked, how effective is this strategy? This strategy is effective in minimizing your loss and risk in the volatile markets. Because, and let me explain you NASA, and you will understand that why I'm saying what I'm saying. Just see the very first two columns of this data. Please do not see the whole strategy, do not read the whole strategy, read nothing. Just look at the first two columns. It says year and it says NASDAQ yearly return. First of all, anyone from the option? Tell me what is NASDAQ 100? What is the NASDAQ index? Even if you want to Google and copy the answer, no problem. But I want everybody to understand this because it's a stock market index. Many of the investors, they are not aware about how index works. What is the NASDAQ index? And I want answer from everyone. Even if you can search and copy and paste it, so you will know that what it is. And this is exactly, I mean, we are doing a workshop thing, so it is not one of those sessions where you sit and get bored and leave. I try my best not to do that, but then you have to actively participate. Tell me what is NASDAQ index. I need answers from everyone. Anyone who's listening here still, tell me what is NASDAQ 100. Okay. Okay. I see everybody. Great. In fact, a lot of people are writing on their own. That's amazing. And there are a lot of people who know about it. Okay. Okay, great. How about more? Okay, I want those people who have not answered. Yes. Okay, perfect. Guys, try. No problem. Just try. Even if you think you're wrong, please go ahead and try. This is the best way to learn and understand. Go ahead and try. I'm ready to sit with you if you're ready to sit with me. So please don't shy away. Go ahead and buy. Okay, so many of you said top 100 companies. Not top 100 companies, but yeah, there are 100 companies in this index. So that is true. Compilation of the US tech stocks 100. Partially right again, it's US stocks, it's tech stocks. But there are few companies which are healthcare also. But yes, you are right. It's a tech heavy index, and there are 100 companies which are tech stocks, and just not US stocks, but these are technology based companies. That's right. Now, so to reiterate, NASDAQ is an index which comprises of 100 companies, and majority of them are technology based. And this is a US index. Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Alphabet, Tesla, AMD, like Intel, IBM, all these tech companies are into NASDAQ, right? One sector which has outperformed in the pandemic is technology, because everybody shopped from Amazon. Nobody went out. Everybody watched Netflix or Amazon Prime. Everybody communicated on Zoom, right? Now, this way, or Microsoft Team, technology became one of the most favorite, one of the most invested sector. And NASDAQ is the index which has most of the tech stocks in it. Now, come back to my strategy. And please look at the first two columns. This is NASDAQ yearly return. Okay. And this is from 2008 till 2020. Tell me, from 2008 till 2020, how many times NASDAQ has given negative returns? Please write it on the chat. It's important for me to understand that everybody is looking at this. I used to do a lot of seminars. There used to be a lot of interactions. Sadly, after the pandemic, I'm not able to do it. But then I want to make sure that this session is worth for you. So tell me, how many times NASDAQ has shown negative performance from 2008 to 2020, the numbers which you see? Okay. Everybody, please answer. I know it's a very basic question. I know you'll be sick of it. But just answer. You will feel amazing because you're participating in this. So you'll really like it. Anyone who is looking at right now, type right away. Do an effort. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. Everybody's doing this. Perfect. Twice, right? Which means to neatly reiterate this, in 2008, if you bought Nasdaq, you would have lost 42% on your portfolio, right? 2009, if you bought Nasdaq, you would have earned 53% on your portfolio. That's how it goes till to 2020. Now, keep Nasdaq where it is. Look at South Africa Index yearly return. South African Index is an index which comprises of South African companies. Okay. Now, if you look at South Africa Index, tell me how many times South African Index has shown negative return from the same period. You can see that data. Tell me how many times. Okay. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead. Keep typing. Okay, perfect. Everybody is seeing this. I'm loving this. Thank you so much, guys. Amazing crowd. Everybody's answering. That's brilliant. Brilliant. So many enthusiasts over here. 4 times South Africa has shown negative return. So everybody is clear on this. Like from last 2008 till 2020. I'm not even considering 2021 right now. 2021 has just started, but look at this thing. 2020, 2008 till 2020. Now imagine, just imagine, had you invested only in Nasdaq every year, you would lose in 2008, right? And then you would lose in 2018. But then most of the time, if you see, Nasdaq has gone up. If you see South African index, if you had bought South African index, you lose in 2008, you will lose in 2011, you will lose in 2016, you will lose in 2018. But if you compare the returns, most of the time, now compare Nasdaq and South Africa both. Most of the time, Nasdaq has outperformed South Africa. Instead, if you see 2008, South Africa fell less, but Nasdaq fell more. But if you see 2009, Nasdaq outperformed. 2010, Nasdaq outperformed. 2011, Nasdaq outperformed. 2012, South Africa outperformed. But then 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020, Nasdaq has outperformed South Africa. Right? Now, important thing. NASA means you buy Nasdaq, be long on Nasdaq, and short sell South African index. What you hope to achieve is, if you see now the 4th column, first is year, second is Nasdaq yearly return, third is South Africa yearly return, 4th is your return if you were long on Nasdaq, which means if you bought Nasdaq and short sell South Africa, how your years would look like. Now, I want you to go year by year. Look at 2008. Had you invested only in Nasdaq, you would lose 42%. Had you invested only in South Africa, you lose 26%. But if you have bought Nasdaq and short sell South Africa, your net loss will be 16%, which means less than the stock market losses. If your passive investor friend has put money in the index, he has lost more money than you have. Guys, investment is a lot about reducing and minimizing your risk and loss than making a profit. So if you see why market neutral strategy is important, that had you invested long on Nasdaq and short sell on South Africa, instead of losing 42 or 26, you're losing net 16%. Now come 2009. If you bought Nasdaq, you made 53% return, but then you short sell South Africa, so you lost 29% because South Africa also went up. So your net return is still 25 plus. Next, 18% you made on Nasdaq, 15% you lost on South Africa, net return 3%. Then net return 2%. Now if you see, again 2012, because South Africa went up more and it outperformed Nasdaq, you lost 8%. But then, guys, look at the 2018, where Nasdaq went down by 1.6%, South Africa went down by 11%, but your strategy still gave you 9% return. Look at 2016, where had you invested only in Nasdaq, you would have made 8%. If you had invested only in South Africa, you have lost 4%. But if you had put money into the strategy, you would have made 13%. This is called market neutral. Now, during this time, 2016, guys, 2016 was the time when Donald Trump became the president. A lot of chaos everywhere. If you see 2017, when trade wars started, a lot of things happened between 2016 till 2018. But this particular strategy has given year on year positive returns. Why? Because you went market neutral on it, right? You bought one, you short sell another, so you got steady returns, sometimes less, sometimes more. But what is more important, your protection during the volatility. So my focus again, guys, I'm not sitting here and standing and saying profit, profit, profit. I'm sitting here and telling you that minimize your loss, try to reduce your risk. That's the mantra to earn profit at all. There will never be any guarantee or assurance of the profits. What you have to stress on, how do I risk? How do I minimize my risk? How do I minimize my losses? By employing such kind of strategies, right? So this is one strategy which again always goes on. Again, guys, these things, please talk to our consultants, our financial experts, and then only go ahead with it, because it has a. Now, how do you take exposure in this? Just like we did in the previous one, let me show you how to take exposure in NASA, how you can do it on your particular platform. I've already one pair right here. Let's say US NASDAQ. So you can search US NASDAQ, open the order ticket, close this, and then search for South Africa. South African index right here. Oh, I think the market is closed at this point. Okay. Okay, I think the South African market is closed, but then I would tell you how you would actually do it. Let's say $50,000. I'm taking the same exposure. If you have to buy NASDAQ, 50,000 buy. And then if you have to short sell South Africa, then you would just short sell South Africa by clicking on the sell and doing the equal value. So this will allow you to take the pair trade again in similar values, guys. Because the value is similar, so whatever price it is, it doesn't matter at that particular thing, because your exposure is similar, right? So this is something again which can be done for your strategy basis. NASDAQ South Africa, banks and gold basket, which we currently saw two strategies. Now come to a point about commodities. Right now I'm talking about stocks and equities, right? There has to be one example which is about commodities. That's very, very important, because this has almost ruled 2017 till 2020. A lot of people, a lot of investors have done this. And I'm sure if you dig deeper and talk to your friends, one of them would definitely know about these things. I'm talking about the intra-commodity arbitrage, or something what we call as a spread trade, also the statistical arbitrage. Very easy to understand. Again, now if you know short selling, so you know that how the pair trading concept works. Let me show you here. Okay, another strategy which we have. Okay, from NASA, let's understand. Okay, let's see the Brent and WTI first. Again, this was last updated in December itself, 30th December 2020. Very simple, guys. See this chart, and this is a spread chart. First, let me explain it to you over here about how many kinds of oil are there. And this is a very important thing. People should understand this. To go back to my screen, back and forth. Yes. Let me open 2 coins. I'll rather make a watch list right away. Click create a new watch list, so I can add all my pairs and name it as pair trades right here. And this is done. Add my pair trades. First, South Africa, NASDAQ right here, then gold basket and bank basket. Where's bank basket? US bank. Right here, US bank basket. And now one more pair which I'm adding is Brent oil and crude oil WTI, West Texas. This is West Texas. Now, why I have added two kinds of oil over here? Guys, there are two kinds of oil which you can trade in financial markets. One is Brent oil, which is also called UK oil, which comes from the North Sea. Another is West Texas, which is US-based oil, which is explored by Shell, which is in US. Now, the pricing of the oil is very simple. It is dollar per barrel. So what you see right now, it is $67 for a crude oil Brent, which is on the left side of my screen, 67.75 Brent oil, and 64.21 WTI West Texas oil, which is US oil. Can you please calculate the difference between the Brent oil and WTI oil? The basic difference between the prices right now. Take the buying price of both the oils, use your calculators and tell me how much is the difference between the Brent and the WTI. How many dollar difference is there? Just calculate both their buying prices. Find the difference between the buying prices. I wish I could give away prices to increase more and more participation, but this is a heavily motivated crowd, so I'm loving this. Okay, I'm getting answers already, guys. Quick on your calculators. Difference between the Brent buying price and the WTI buying price. How much is the difference right now? If you calculate it on your own, trust me, the next thing which I'm going to tell you, you will understand it very clearly. So that's why I want you to calculate it yourself so you can see it. Great. Okay, getting the answers right away. Perfect. So I think the common answer is 3.5, 3.5, of course. Great. 3.5. Perfect. Perfect. Everybody is on the same line. Now you have calculated this 3.5, right? Okay. Now the strategy which we came up with was very simple. What we did, we analyzed this 3.5. Look this chart now, okay? And look, this was 30th December, okay? And this was, if you see it here, let's see how I can. Sorry. See if I can use a marker. No, this is whiteboard. Okay. So if you see this, the 30th December, 3.06. So the price difference which you calculated now is 3.5, right? The same price difference, it was around 3.06, $3.06. Right now it is $3.50. It was $3.06 in December when this strategy was made. So this chart which you see is not the chart of oil prices. This chart what you see is the difference between both the oils, crude oil. So why it's called Brent WTI spread chart is spread means the difference between both the buying prices of Brent oil and WTI. And this chart, if you see, can anybody tell me what is the highest the spread has been? I think now you understand this language. What is the highest the spread has been looking at this chart from 2015 till 2021? What is the highest spread has gone to? Which means the difference between the prices of Brent and WTI. How much higher it was if you just look at this chart. Perfect. Everybody's amazing. Everybody's answering this. Great. So everybody agrees 10.99 because that's literally the top, which means if at some point Brent oil was 55, then WTI or West Texas must be 45 or 44, right? $10, $11 difference. Now, what happened? If you see, there is a point where that support line has been drawn because we saw from 2016, and as you can see, Okay, also, by the way, tell me the plot. What is the lowest the spread has been? How will you find it? I think it is somewhere in the chart. It's written very small. I highly doubt that you'll be able to see it. But take a wild guess. Look at the numbers left and right and see. What is the lowest the spread has been? Try to stress it. Try to see. Take a guess also. From 2015. It is somewhere 2015. What is the lowest the spread has been? Perfect. Just a small correction. It's not zero point 0.4. It is minus zero point 0.4, which means WTI became slightly expensive than Brent, right? So this is, which means the spread has gone negative also from 11. So from negative, it has went up to 11. So if you see 2015, it was minus 0.48 and it has gone 11 plus 11 from minus 4.8 plus 11, right? And then from plus 11 in 2020, it came down to 2. Now, if you see that level of 2, that's where it comes most of the time and bounces back. Somewhere around 2. See, from 2016 to 2020, it comes to 2, it bounces back. When we made this thing, it was around 3.06. What is our target? Our target is somewhere around $6. Because if you see 6 on the vertical axis, if you see 6, that is where a line of resistance is forming, right? That's where mostly the peaks are. If it crosses 6, it again goes to 10. But right now, the 6 is a kind of target, right? So when we prepared this strategy, it was 3.06. Now it is 3.5. You yourself calculated. You know how much highest it has gone and you know how much lowest it has gone. So you know your risk and reward in this, right? If you enter now, you target for probably 6 and you know there is a support line at 2. So whenever the price difference is 2, it's a great entry point, right? Because every time since 2016, the gap has been 2, it has bounced back to 3 or 4 or 5 and so on and so forth. Now, when you're expecting that the spreads will go higher, which means that's where you will make money, right? It is 3. So if it goes to 6, you make a profit. Now, when to do that, how you have to take a trade? It's very simple. Again, now here equal quantities, okay? Because it's a price differential trade, so you have to take equal quantities. How this is going to work? Go to your platform and you have both the oils open now. Equal quantities, which means if you buy Brent because you're expecting gap to get higher, which means either Brent will go up or WTI will come down, but the gap will increase. So what do? You short sell WTI, buy Brent, but equal barrels. 1,000 barrels, say Brent buy, which is worth $67,000. 1,000 barrels WTI sell, which means you buy one, you sell another. Now here is your another pair which is ready. 1,000 barrels. Now guys, please understand this. Purpose of first doing this trade. Any calamity which happens in the oil market, these both are oil. They move almost in a similar direction, right? Then why I have bought one and sold another? Primarily for the reason, see, banks and gold pair trade were two instruments which are kind of being affected by one specific event. But oil, they are very connected, right? Brent oil or WTI oil, both oil. Tomorrow, like last time when oil prices went up, both the oils went up. When oil came down, both the oil came down. So these two products are very similar connected to it. Then why I'm buying one and short selling another? Reason being that my profit and loss depends on the basis of not how the oil prices move, but how the difference between these oil prices today, like tomorrow, for example, something happens and oil market falls, which means this goes down and this also goes down. So if Brent goes down, if I have bought Brent, right? So if Brent goes down, I'm making a loss. But WTI will also go down, so I'm making a profit. So it's hedged. If market goes up, then Brent goes up, WTI goes up. So no profit, no loss. My profit and loss will happen that tomorrow, let's say market goes down, Brent is still the same. it did not, it went down by this much. So I made a loss in my buying position, but WTI fell more. So gap increased, making a profit. Or oil prices went up. So WTI went up slightly. So short selling has a loss, but Brent went up more. So the buying position is in profit. This is called the oil spread trade or oil arbitrage, which happens. Again, guys, you don't wake up in the morning and say, okay, let's do a spread trade. You talk to your consultant, they will check the ratio, they will study that chart and see what are the chances of going it up or down. Sometimes there are seasons, sometimes there are a lot of reasons why we would expect spreads to go up or come down. So if you're expecting, if it was already 11 and we would expect it to come down, then we would short sell Brent and buy WTI, because then we would expect either this to come down or this to go up and spread reduces. So this is market neutral to the oil market. If oil prices are going crazy, you don't have to mostly worry because you are buying on one and short selling on another. You will have to worry if the gap which was expected to go wider is going more narrower, right? So if oil spread starts coming down, that's where your loss is. So this is something which will be explained to you, which will be communicated to you before you enter into the trade. So that's why you need to understand how these strategies work. But then please understand the idea behind this. Okay, I'm not asking you to take this trade right away. I'm just explaining you that how other investors they try to minimize their risk in such volatile markets. Now, coming back to the point, there is one more strategy similar which I will share it with you, and it's very important because it was talked a lot last time. Look at this before we go quickly to the cyclical stocks right here. Okay, so this was your oil spread. Let's quickly understand the call spot and the future contract. And guys, this is amazing. This is what you're looking at, the 16 July 2020. So we are not probably currently doing this, but then you should know this because this is actually intra-commodity arbitrage. This is between spot and the future. Financial markets have gold spot and has future contract. For those people who want to know more about future contract, please have one-on-one session later on, and I'll explain it to you. Idea is both the instruments they trade in the live market, and sometimes the difference between the spot and the future is much higher than anticipated. So what you do is you short sell the future and buy the spot and try to do arbitrage. So if you see this particular chart, during the pandemic in April 2020, the difference between the gold spot and the future went up $70. And from 70, it did come down to right now. You will be surprised if I would show you. Look at this. Guys, look at my banks and gold strategy. The bank strategy, the US banks is up profit $115. The US gold is in a loss of $80. Net, I'm in a profit. Right? I hope you understand how we are doing. This is just a very small example. You don't book your profit right away. Obviously, there is a different risk and reward and vision over it. But see how it is working out. My banks is in a profit of 106. My US gold is in a loss of 83. So net, I have a profit of $15-16. So this is the idea to show you that how the pair trades are happening. Now coming back to the gold strategy, I'll open my watch list, pair trade, and I'll add now one gold cash and gold future. See the difference. 1727, this one, and then 1725. It became, the future is on discount. When we saw last pandemic, the future was at $70 premium. So we had to short sell the future because it was at premium and buy the spot because it was at discount and wait for the spreads to get converged in together. So that is again something, guys, which has worked out really well in the past. There are risks connected to it, which definitely needs to be understood and communicated, and only then investments are to be done. Right. So these are some pair trades. Just to explain you a bit more of how else you can also use the pairs in different things. Few strategies which are there. And again, I'm more than happy to have a one-on-one session to explain it to you. This is OAT and con ratio, right? Similar strategy. Then there is a basket, renewable energy basket and oil and gas basket. Just like NASDAQ and South Africa, we are doing pairs between renewables, clean energy, and the fossils. Obviously, buying renewables in Joe Biden's world and short selling oil and gas, which has in the past has shown wonderful returns. Look at 2020. Renewables went up by 88%, oil and gas went down by 50%. Net profit 130%. So this is something, this is statistics right away. This is not a guaranteed return or anything. But if you see historically how you can be market neutral to either of both of the markets. So similarly, there has been a spread trade between the bond yields also, which not many people know, but between German and Italian bonds, we did a spread trade that also worked. And we keep doing different pairs, gold and silver, one of the most popular trade. Many a times the ratio comes at these 80 levels. You go buy silver and short sell gold, and when it comes down below 45, you buy gold and short sell silver. Gold silver ratio, guys, you can Google search and you'll be able to see that how commonly it is used, but many people don't know about it. And there is silver spot and future arbitrage, like gold spot and future arbitrage, right? Last but not the least, I wanted quickly to talk about the second bit of it, which was about the cyclical stocks. And see, guys, vaccines are on a rollout, so I think it is fair enough to say that coming few months there will be ups and downs. A lot of people are talking about the possibility of a second version of lockdown and everything. But then you have to understand that with vaccines and massive rollout, the lockdown is not a very favorable situation for the economy. So a lot of things will be done to avoid this particular arrangement. So cyclical stocks, when we say, these are some companies which are very vulnerable to recession and slowdowns, right? I mean, something like a brand, like when there was a lockdown, people were not buying Range Rovers and Aston Martins, right? They were saving their money because they wanted essential products. Now, cyclical stocks are these brands, hospitality, airlines. These are cyclical because whenever people are traveling more, the demand for these kind of companies increase, right? So now a bit of understanding about how you can invest into cyclical stocks. See, the basic idea behind the concept of cyclicality is that whenever there's a recession or pandemic, and once the recession or the pandemic starts getting over, the first sector which gets benefited is cyclical stocks. Because we all know the sectors like airlines, tourism, travel, they have crashed during the pandemic. And with the vaccines rollout, we have seen an increase in the prices of these stocks. Right now, there are a lot of industries. So, airlines, hotels, retail, restaurants, automakers, technology. Technology is like, if you see, most of the tech stocks are cyclical because if you see individuals, business, they are less inclined to spend money on the latest technologies and electronic devices during recession. So, whenever there's a recession, people would not buy iPhone 12s and etc. Right, but when the vaccine rollout happens, economic activity starts, pandemic gets reduced, then again things will be back on track. Again, tech will become more important. Automakers, banks, again in recession, the profitability of the banks also decline because people are not getting mortgages, they're not getting auto loans, they're not buying credit cards because they have a lot of struggle to pay their own debts, right? So again, banks is more of a cyclical thing. So that's why now with vaccines rollout happening, you can look into some of these companies like JP Morgan, Apple, General Motors, Boeing. Then there are some defensive stocks also, which will give you good dividend like Coca-Cola, etc., which is not a cyclical stock. But then again, you can have a mix of these kind of stocks as well. Now, again, guys, to be very clear, none of the companies which I'm telling you right now, JP Morgan, Apple, or GM, they are perfectly cyclical or perfectly defensive. But again, given the circumstances of every specific recession, like pandemic is a very special situation. So airlines and hospital, like hotels, they connect very much to the cyclical part of it, because when pandemic came, first thing which got affected was airlines. So guys, look into these kind of sectors also, because now if they recover, then again these companies will start moving higher. See, if you understand companies like Boeing, etc., they have already recovered from the pandemic. Like if you look at Boeing right away, it is still like moving. It has not reached to a point where it was, but look at this big fall during the pandemic. It went to all the way. Look at, increase the size of text. Look, from $347 per share, Boeing went down to $95 per share, and now it is at $250 per share. So it has definitely recovered from its $95 thing, and now it is $250. Today it is up by 1.5%. So with more and more vaccine rollouts and time being spent, people will never be able to forget the pandemic. They will be more careful. But then travel and tourism will find a way to become more faster and comfortable, right? So this is something which we can focus on. We have a portfolio which includes these stocks. Please talk to your RMs and they will be able to send this portfolio to you. I think I have a few questions coming in right now. I'll quickly answer these questions. Can we have demo accounts? Definitely. I think you can have demo accounts also, and you should do all these strategies in your demo to try and see how this works out. Before live account, try to do this in a demo. At least you'll be more familiar with how to take trades, how to open a live account. Live account opening is very easy. You just have to submit documents, and your RMs can help you with it. It takes 2 days, 1 or 2 days maximum. Third, can we have a one-on-one session to understand more about the platform? Now, that's a good question. You can definitely have a one-on-one session. I will conduct it for you. Please talk to your relationship managers, free of cost, client or no client, don't worry about it. We will do a one-on-one session for you and we'll explain more and more, right? That's great, guys. If you have any more questions, you can type. If not, then please, if you want the PDF or the copy of these strategies, you can talk to your relationship managers and they will happily give you all these PDFs and you can read it. But please, before you apply in your live accounts or anywhere else, talk to your financial consultants, experts, and take their opinion. So once again, thank you so much, guys. Before I leave, on behalf of my team of Century Financial, myself, and from my family, to anyone and everyone who's connected to healthcare, pharmaceutical, or medical industry, is a doctor or has a doctor in a family or a spouse, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, from my family, from my company, from my friends. What you guys have done is exceptional. Even now, also, the pandemic was not a very good year for anyone. But then the health professionals, the healthcare professionals have put themselves out, risk their lives to save us. So on behalf of my family and my company, if any one of you is listening who has a friend or a family in healthcare or who's themselves working in a pharma industry or healthcare, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. This is something which is completely personal and emotional, so I don't want to miss the opportunity to do that. Next, anybody who needs to have a one-on-one session, I'll be available. My name is Yogesh. Do talk to your relationship managers and we'll be training more and more. I'll meet you once again for a different session on a different time and we'll learn more and more. Till then, please stay safe. Pandemic is not over yet. Do wear your mask, have a safe distance, and have a very healthy next year. So once again, guys, thank you so much. Good night.